there's a global geopark network, and which also incorporates the European geopark network. And the geoparks concept developed originally in Europe and now it is applied globally, and tries to use these geological resources, the geodiversity, for geotourism, to be able to do geoconservation and to make it sustainable for the socioeconomic development of an area. So we will have some sites that are developed for visits, some management of the elements so that they cannot be collected because it's not sustainable, some sites that are protected from erosion, and so on, in the geoparks. And one thing that is important is that the legislation is not enough by itself. We need public awareness, we need the help of organizations, we need to be active, capacity, cooperation, and strategies to develop, to enforce more or less this legislation. And then this is kind of propaganda of Progeo, what it is, to promote the conservation of Europe's heritage. And now there's other continents, like in Latin America. I know that there's people that are working in similar subjects are developing also associations similar to Progeo to work on these subjects. And you can find this webpage, internet, progeo.se for Sweden, because it is based in Sweden. And you can find there all the newsletter. There's regional working groups. You can join it and get the journal. Also, there's lots of, this is the publication that I gave you. This is one book that is included in the documentation that you will get later, all the articles on this session of Progeo that took place in Spain in 1999, one of the earliest ones, and this one also. So one includes the main conferences, and the other one the individual participation of different scientists from different places. There's one in Italy, the Balkans, and in many places. All over Europe, there's many different publications and initiatives going on. And the latest one, published by Springer, is a journal, a scientific journal that is called Geoheritage, that started in 2009. Has 2, 3, or 4 issues every year, where you can find the latest information about or developments and methodologies and models about geoheritage. And some of the articles that are included in the documentation that you will get are also in this folder that you will get. So there's many examples for the geoconservation in Europe. To conserve geodiversity can be done by law, planning without the laws, but if it is incorporated in local planning, or also the custody, the private property has also sometimes a very strong possibilities to preserve things when you don't have legislation or when you don't have planning. There's associations that help with the custody of territory, both for biodiversity but also for geodiversity. It has to be management based on knowledge, so that's why it's important to characterize, to make inventories, to identify the geodiversity in the maps, so on. So this has to be based on research, and also for the public to do interpretive itineraries, museums, and education at all levels. Similarly to what has happened with environmental education and biodiversity. So we must integrate with the rest of nature management. That's what we are trying to define the geoconservation in a multidisciplinary setting, and you have to be open for sustainable use. So you cannot just protect everything and not allow any public use. There has to be public use, sustainable, but it has to be based on this knowledge that I was mentioning for the proper management. And that's it for this talk. We go for the next one. This is very intensive. I noticed that you are getting tired also. But we have a lot of, I would like to, I think we are keeping up very well for the schedule. Now it's 12. We will get all this later. I mean, the presentations for the features you can use and so on. Okay, so now we'll talk about the geoconservation in Spain. There has been a lot of international initiatives and national that we have worked from Spain. There is resolution that I mentioned, and then there's national initiatives, regional and local. And who is working here, that's so you know the potential for your countries, the Geological Survey, the Professional Geologist Association, the Geological Society, these groups, professionals, even if they're working in private companies, these groups, scientists and professors from university and research centers, and then particularly the few persons that are active in this. I will show you a different presentation about the resolution of the last Congress. There's other international initiatives. One of them is this global geosites that was adopted and then dropped by UNESCO due to funding problems, which is a global inventory of geological heritage. This is much needed, and we are one of the things that we are asking in this motion here at the IUCN Congress this year, next week, is that IUCN also incorporates in the international organizations that promote this global inventory of geological heritage, similarly to what is done with biodiversity, the list, the red species lists, and so on. We should be able to also do a global inventory of geological heritage, which is based on these two things: geological frameworks and sites of geological interest. What it consists is, first, do a preliminary selection of geological frameworks. This means that nationally each country defines areas that are big areas that are of international relevance, something that is very rare or not frequent in other countries, but in a broad sense, like for example, some kind of mineral deposit in general, or some tectonic style, like in the Himalayas, there's some particular things that are not seen anywhere on the Earth. So this thing would be a geological framework. Then to describe and justify its international significance means that justify that it is not something that is very frequent and common everywhere in the world. It has to be something unique that makes it geological heritage. And then from this national geological framework, select and describe geosites, some specific sites that represent the geological framework. And these geosites will be put in a list, and those are the geosites that are going to concentrate the management and the protection, the legal protection. In Spain, Spain is one of the few countries, I think there's only 2 or 3 countries in the world so far, that have finished this inventory. It was finished in 2001. The geological frameworks were established. This one was published in episodes, the journal of IUGS. And then in September, the whole process was finished with the selection of geosites, and it was published in 2008. So the 3 steps have been finished. Britain is another country that has done it. France, Germany, Portugal, I think is also finished. Germany is almost finished. So some countries are almost there. But actually, all countries in the world should be doing this. So that's why we want to recover this global geosites program, because it is an excellent tool for the international geoconservation. And the good thing is that once it is done, the results can be incorporated into the national legislation to promote the conservation of geoheritage. And this has been done in Spain because the program was finished right on time in 2007 when we had this Natural Heritage Act approved by the government in 2007. So all the list of geosites and frameworks was incorporated into the legislation. And now when we are defining which areas should be new national parks, so we have to look at this by law. We have to select areas that incorporate these geological frameworks, the Carboniferous, the Iberian Pyrite Belt, the Iberian Mariscal origin. So these sites have to be protected as well by law. This is in the web page, of the Geological Survey of Spain, and if any of you is very interested, I have a CD available. So then when this list of geosites is published, then it has to be periodically revised because there's more scientific studies, there's more changes, and one should always, similarly to catalogs and inventories of the fauna or the flora, they need to be revised periodically. The same happens with geoheritage. So this list that was originally established in 2007, in 2011 we did a review and we published another with slight modifications, adding new sites and so on. I have already mentioned this in the previous talk, the recommendation of the European Council. And these recommendations were identifying areas of interest, develop national strategies, reinforce legal instruments. So these are very good ideas, so they are still very valid for any country that to apply in there. The problem is that because it is a recommendation, many countries have problems and there's normally no conscience for geoheritage in the politicians, or there's no geologists usually, or the professionals that are in the government are not aware of these things, so it was not possible to finish, to enforce in many countries. But in Spain, we have done most of them.
I think we have to mention for our colleagues from another continent, Council of Europe means more than European Union.
Yes, more countries.
More countries. Also from outside European Union, about 47 countries.
All the it groups all the ministers of all the European countries, even if they are not in the European Union, in the common currency or so. Well, Romania is now in the European Union, but only a few years ago.
Yes, 2007.
2007.
Also before the European Union, Romania was member
of the Council of Europe. So Romania was also could have put this in use, this recommendation. Do you know if there was anything done about this? Probably not.
We have in our legislation category of geoparks, the legislation of protected area. Put it in 2007.
But you have
That's not looking to this recommendation.
And that's
my personal idea.
there. Because the recommendation looks at the identification of the making inventories of these geosites, which is the important thing to know what to make.
You need your soil resource.
That's the problem. Well, we're talking about the Spanish initiatives and project conservation, so there's 7 geoparks already in Spain. One of the first ones previous to the Global Geopark Network is the Maestrazgo, that was in the European network, and then it was in the global network. And then recently, 2 new ones. But there's a lot of areas that want to apply, usually there's many different areas. The idea is very popular because it helps for sustainable development of local areas. We have had some national initiatives for the laws I was mentioning before to incorporate these geological frameworks that are identified in the geosites project, so they were incorporated into the law. Well, there's many things that have been incorporated into these laws thanks to this previous. I'm not going to go through all of this, but just so you are aware that once you have an international, like European Union or the IUCN, giving suggestions, recommendations, then it is possible for our organizations to ask our governments to incorporate this into the legislation. That has been successful in Spain, and I suppose it should be and could be done in many other countries. And this inventory now has to be done by law. And then, so we have set up, we have developed a methodology. We have tested it at national and regional level and also local level in municipalities because there's different characteristics. And we have developed methodology for the zoning and different vulnerabilities, different accessibilities for the different uses of the geosites. So this allows legal protection when you have well-defined areas in each municipality, conservation, public outreach, and public use. And also important is the zoning and mapping and giving the value for the different elements. Another thing is the strategic plan to define where we are. So what is the current situation in this country, where we want to go, the objectives, mission and vision, and how do we go, where we want to go, how do we go there. So the action plans, activities, this is the classical strategic planning. And I'm not discovering anything here, but we have been doing it in Spain for the geoconservation, and we have a strategic plan for geoconservation in Spain. So reasons, what's happening, and I suppose it is a common thing in other countries. There is a traditional passivity, ignorance, lack of geologists, and there's many needs regarding geoconservation. There has that, besides, at the same time, there has been many changes, many initiatives, many improvements and advances, so this needs to be taken into account. So we set up objectives for long term, for intermediate term. Like our vision is to consider geoheritage and geodiversity as part of natural heritage, to do the natural inventories, finish it, and incorporate it into protected areas, so to guarantee the conservation and the geosystemic services, and then these midterm results. This has to be done with the part of the planning of the strategies. And how do we get the actions, including criteria, indicators for assessment. We are doing that also. Some of them, these indicators, we have 3 levels of priority: mandatory, necessary, and convenient, because sometimes we will have to decide if there's not enough money, we have to decide which things have to be done with more preference, with more priority, which are mandatory, and others will just be convenient, but we can maybe exclude them if there's not enough budget. We have some implications there. Fossils, for example, were clearly stated as part of geodiversity. Other movable elements are also included as part of the geodiversity. Many things there. And I will show you some initiatives. The geoparks, there's other geoparks that are not part of UNESCO, museums, caves, itineraries, the Geology, and many publications. There's many initiatives, particularly many itineraries, panels that are set up in many areas to explain, little museums that get little bits of funding and have different phases to develop. And also it's important to get the media for the widespread interest. So for this, to influence in the public opinion about how it is important. This Geo Day, we call it Geodia, is a national event that is promoted by the Geological Society and by the Association for the Education of Earth Sciences, and it gives a big visibility in the media. And there's a lot of field trips that are free for the public to go with a common logo. In 2012, this year, we had the participation of 48 provinces and over 2,000 participants. I mean, 12,000. This is here explaining to the public some things in an area, but this is done in many places. Also, many publications. I think this is the one you were mentioning of the Ministry of.
Yes, this is one. Yes, it is.
The geological. This is in Spanish, but it's one of the earliest publications of models and concepts for the geoheritage valuing, protection, conservation, and use. There's also this very recent work in 2007, which is the thesis of Carcanilla, the author of the previous article that I showed you, which is the geoheritage and geodiversity research, conservation, management, and relation with protected areas. And it's a very thick thesis with a lot of examples.